Hey fellow knights, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my overall thoughts of the Wicked movies. I'm going to do part 1 and For Good, which is part 2. And I'm not going to go over like everything beat by beat because I'm not that type of YouTuber that will go over beat by beat. I know a few people who does that, and I bet there's an audience for that, but I'm just going to tell you guys what stood out to me for both. That makes sense. So I've seen Wicked parts 1 and part 2 like in theaters twice, and I've seen the musical twice. The first time was with the original cast. The second time was in like 2023, 2022, and I have that luxury of knowing, like, being able to go back and forth in my head, like, what's it called? Swapping? That's the term? Like, swapping between, like, what I liked more about the Broadway first than I did in the movies and vice versa. For me, I would have to say part 1, because, like, part 1 and 2 are kinda like it's practically act 1 and act 2, like, where part 1 ended, that's where the intermission came in, and then Wicked for Good is where Act 2 came in for the Broadway version. The one thing I have to say about this Wicked getting a movie adaptation, 2 of them in this case, is that even though I wasn't exactly asking for any Wicked movies or film whatsoever, I have to say overall I was pleased. Like, especially the first one. The first one was like amazing. The second one was good. I know it's a common thing for like people who've seen the musical and the movies like part 1 better than part 2. I'm in that camp. Um I do think that something I did like in this movie, that even though I wasn't like begging for a Wicked film, was the visuals. I liked seeing what Oz looked like in this adaptation. Um I do like when Elphaba was doing the whole "no good deed goes unpunished" song. When she was listing off the people that means a lot to her, um, being her sister, the goat professor, and Fiero, who is the scarecrow. I do like how in this, like in the movie, we got to see like more so like visual, like the people, visually see the people as Alphaba is saying their names. In the play they we didn't get that, and understandably so. Um the one of the things I liked, or a few things I liked in the Broadway version better than I liked in the movies, was um crap, I had it in my head. Wonderful. That song Wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind this version, the film version. But the Broadway version does it so better, in my opinion. And I guess I didn't realize that when the whole mob scene in for Wicked, like when they say kill the witch, like I didn't realize that Scarecrow wasn't really like seen per se. He was like in the crowd. So like I didn't like. I guess I forgot that after Fiero gets turned into the wizard, or not wizard, scarecrow, he doesn't come back until like the very end. Like certain the Wicked for Good film, like we see a little tease of him like walking with Scarecrow, Dorothy, Cowardly Lion, and when the Elphaba sends flying monkeys to get Dorothy, we see a little glimpse of him as Dorothy's like getting trailed off. Um, I admittedly do like the whole like mob scene, like kill the witch in the film a bit more than I did in the uh uh play. It just felt like I don't know, it just felt like the Tin Man was a bit more angry, and we see him like jolly in the Wizard of Oz, but I get the sense that he was a bit more angry, like. "Grr." And I did the reason I guess I it's not as much as him being so angry because he was like that to the Broadway version. Is how like when he focused on the Cowardly Lion, how like he put the Cowardly Lion on the spot saying, "Tell them what happened to you," and he didn't say anything because he is a coward, quote unquote coward. The thing I like is that I did like the whole like there's a No Place Like Home song, the Wicked Witch song in the second act. Because there's two songs that are added. That song and then the one like right after the mob song, um like after the mob was done singing for a bit, like that's when like Glinda was singing her song. Those two songs were added. I like to get like the No Place Like Home song in here. But the Glenda song was like Ariana Grande, I've been knowing since her Victorious days that she's a good singer. But I was like, this is nothing towards Ariana Grande. It's just was that really needed? I don't think so. And then after a certain point in the film, I think after the mob song, that's felt like when like they were trying to go from one beat to another to another to another, so it felt like a bit rushed. Just a tad bit rushed towards the end. Um I do like how the Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, and Tin Man looked. Because I was very much interested in how they're gonna look in this version. I wished we would have got a look at Dorothy. Because that would have been so cool. See like what our like new Dorothy looked like, even if it's like for like a quick second. I would have been okay with it. Um Back in the day, little side note, because one of my grandmother's name is Dorothy. And when I was a kid, I thought my grandmother was Dorothy Gill. So I would brag about, hey, my grandmother went to Oz. She met the Tin Man Lion and Scarecrow. And as I like, obviously, I realized that those two are two different people, and it was so sad when I first found out. I told my grandmother the same Dorothy about that, and she laughed and said, oh, "Okay." She thought that was cute. Granted, I was like a little kid, and I don't think I like made the connection until I was like what between the ages of 6 and 7, 6 and 8, or 6 and 9. Between the ages of 6 and 9, and I can kind of see like kids who might be watching this said, "Oh my god, he said 6, 7." But I do like all the first part practically of like the first film, part one. My favorite part to part one is when like the ladies who did Elphaba and Glinda on the Broadway version made a cameo in the uh Emerald City when Elphaba and Glinda went to the Emerald City. And I like how that song was extended, as well as Dance with Your Life. I like how that was extended. And if you guys pay attention, there were hints of where like what would be the fates of some characters like Cowardly Lion. I think that was like the most obvious nod. And then we got like the Scarecrow with Fieros in a Dancing Through Life. He says, "Life is painless for the brainless." That was a nod to, in my opinion, I think that was a nod to, okay, this guy is going to be the Scarecrow at some point. And I didn't realize until like someone pointed out to me in my second watch through um Wicked Part 1. And I misspoke earlier. I watched all Wicked Part 1 3 times. The last time was in preparation for Wicked for Good. But where like I forget his name now, but the guy who was the Tin Man, the way he initially stood up, like he stood when we first meet him, and then got like I guess that's how he like the it was a notch like okay, that guy's supposed to be the Tin Man, and he always started with his heart in the first film, so like I guess that was supposed to be a nod to like him being the Tin Man. Um, I know like there's some people that says I'm tired of the whole like villains being misunderstood. And to be fair, I understand that because I'm kind of getting into that frame too, where I'm kind of getting tired of Holly weird, as I sometimes call them, doing that with the villains. They did that with not Cinderella, Maleficent. Um, they did that with Cruella de Vil. They did that with Scar in like the wannabe live action Lion King. And don't get me wrong, I do think at least with the wannabe live action Lion King, that what they had room to do that with. And granted, they had room for Cruella de Vil, sure. But like, and even though I only seen like the first Angelina Jolie's Maleficent, I do think that they need to like lay off. Like that wasn't needed. Some villains can just stay as like always being twisted. Because I even heard like they're planning to do a Gaston movie. I'll link the video where I heard it from. It's like, okay, Gaston, he just leave him alone. We don't need backstories to every single baddie. Like the whole Darth Vader thing worked with getting the backstory of him and why he became evil. Same with Scar. And the whole backstory of Cruella de Vil could work. Depends on how you write it. But like, I don't know. And sure, even though I like Wicked with what they did with Elphaba, sure, I am in the pool where like not everyone needs to have like a backstory of how they became evil. Granted, when Wicked came out, I highly doubt that this like there was a trend of this when it originally came out as a book and then later on as a play. The one thing I wonder if you guys read the trilogy, because I did hear that the Wicked book, that the play and movies, as to say, are essentially based off of. It's part of a trilogy. So I wonder if, because now we're getting into more spoilery. So like I should have said it before, but if you guys haven't watched both Wicked films and don't want to get spoiled, back out before we watching the rest. With that said, go in. With the very end, when Elphaba and Fiero goes into that dune of nothingness, I wonder if either in Wicked 2 or Wicked 3, if Elphaba and Glinda ever reunite. If any of you guys know that, please let me know, because there's a really good chance I'm not gonna read the books. I'm not a huge reader. My mom, as a kid, forced me to read like so freaking much that now, as an adult, like sure I'll read when I have to, but if I don't have to, I'm not gonna read. I'm not a huge reader because my parents, mostly my mom, went overboard with that as a kid, and my for me, kind of killed my love for reading. Um, unless if it's comic books or mangas. Anyways, so let me know if Glinda and Alphaba ever reunites. Um, I can see this being like just one film, sure. Maybe it could like been like, even though I'm not like not a huge fan of how long the Avatar 2 and 3 are, I feel like if Wicked got the same treatment as Avatar did, if they put a James Cameron with Avatar 2 and 3, then I feel like this could have been easily on one movie wonder. 3.5 hours. Just explaining part one, like the first like an hour and a half ish. Explain part one. And have like maybe a 5 minute little interlude. Maybe having the music to the interlude being like, we're off to see the wizard. Um, the Wicked Witch is dead. Um, if I only had a brain, if I only had a heart, or even somewhere over the rainbow, like not have the lyrics per se, but just have like the songs playing for like 5 minutes, and or maybe even like doing a combination of those songs, as an interlude. I feel like if they did like that route, have it 3.5 hours about, sure people will complain that would be too long, sure, but I don't know. I think this could have been like a one and done deal. Cause I don't know. And at first, like when they announced that, hey, we're going to be doing a Wicked film. Before it was like I didn't even know it was going to be in two parts. I was like, in again? Like we're getting another Broadway adaptation? Because last one we got that I saw was Cats, the movie, and I hated Cats the movie because it did the musical injustice. So I was kind of like, okay, my brother wanted to see it with me. My brother and soon to be sister in law, his fiance, sister. Okay, I'll watch it with them. I enjoyed the first part. So the second part, I enjoyed it too. And so like overall, I enjoyed the films. I know this was me like more so rambly, but I do think that if you guys are fans a fan of the musical, the Broadway production, I do genuinely think you would enjoy the films. And I don't know. I obviously I don't think they're perfect films, sure. But when it comes to like Broadway adaptations, like move Broadway to like movie form, because like well, there's Rent, and then there's Cats, and then there's Wicked, and there's I know there's more. Like sure, Rent is really good, and like I watched Rent the movie once. I never seen the musical, so I don't know how that is. But as a person who's seen both Cats and Wicked plays and musicals, between the two Broadway plays that got movie adaptations, Wicked is by far the best musical to movie theater adaptation that I've seen. And I'm telling you guys, if you guys are have yet to see the Wicked movies because you're burnt out on Hollywood wanting to like remake movies, TV shows, Broadway versions, whatever, to the big screen, I promise you, you guys would have an overall good experience with Wicked Part 1 and Wicked Part 2. That said, I am done with my review. With that said, what do you guys think about this film? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love y'all. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow knights later.